Hey guys, and welcome back to Food Friday on my channel. In today's video I want to share with you a recipe that's kind of fitting for today. It's kind of cold and rainy outside, so this dish is always great to have on a cold and rainy day. And so the recipe that I want to share with you guys today is my Crockpot potato soup, and it's a family favorite, which I didn't think it would be because my oldest daughter, both my daughters actually, are very picky, but this is actually my eldest daughter's favorite dish to make. So she always asks for it over and over again, so it's a great dish that she loves. So today I want to show you guys how to make it in the crock pot. It's very simple, it's very easy. Throw all the ingredients in the crock pot, let it cook all day, you don't have to worry about it. So if you would like to see how I make my version of crock pot potato soup, then keep watching. Now the first thing that I have here in the crock pot is 2 pounds of cut and diced potatoes and 2 cups of water. I like to pour the cups of water first in the crock pot so that as I am cutting the potatoes I can put them in so that they don't brown. So right now I have, just like I said, 2 pounds of potatoes chopped up and 2 cups of water. To that I'm going to add some chicken bouillon, and this is the one that I use. And this is the one I'm going to use for this recipe, and I use this for a lot of my recipes as well. So for that you're going to need 2 teaspoons of the chicken bouillon powder. Now if you do not want to use the chicken bouillon powder, or you don't have that, you can use 2 cups of chicken stock as opposed to 2 cups of water and 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon. But I always have chicken bouillon on hand because I use it for other dishes, so I always use 2 cups of water and 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon. The next thing you're going to add is 1/4 cup of onions. Next you're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of minced garlic. Then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Before you put in the crock pot, you want to mix it all well. You don't want just the flavors to stick to one part of the potato, so mix it well before you put it in the crock pot. Now you're going to put it in the crock pot, and you can put it in the crock pot for 8 hours on low, or you could put it for 4 hours on high. So whenever I make this potato soup recipe, I always make a double batch because I like to cook one that day that I'm making it, and I like to freeze one because it does freeze well. So the second batch I always put it in a Ziploc bag, and I get all the air out and squeeze it so it lays flat. And then I will freeze it this way, and then that way I can stack them up with my other freezer meals. So I put it in a freezer safe Ziploc bag, and then I write the date and what the meal is and instructions on here as well to what to do with it, so that way if my husband has to put this meal in the crock pot, or if my oldest daughter has to do this meal in the crock pot, they know what to do that day with the meal. They don't need to ask me for anything. So I always like to make a double batch, and that's one tip that I would have to say. If you make a meal, if you can double it, and if it freezes well, always double it so that you can have one for that night and one to freeze it. So we are going to have one tonight, and this will be in the freezer for any day that I need a quick meal. I could just pull this out, put it in the crock pot, and I'm done. So after you've cooked your potatoes on high for 4 hours or on low for 8 hours, they'll look like this. And this part you will mash up the potatoes. Now it depends on how you like them, how much you have to mash. Some people like their potato soup to be chunky. So if you are one of those people that like your potato soup to be chunky, then don't mash it up as much. I kind of like having mine smooth, so I try to mash it as much as possible. So just continue mashing until you get the consistency of the potatoes, the consistency of how you want the potatoes. Once you have finished mashing up the potatoes to the way you want them, whether you want them chunky or you want them smooth, then you're going to take a cup of milk, warm milk, and you're going to pour it in there. And you want to make sure that you warm up the milk before you pour it in there, at least 30 seconds in the microwave, because you don't want to put cold milk into the hot potatoes. So After you have put the milk in there, start mashing it up and mixing it all together. After you finish mashing the potatoes and mixing the milk in with them, you're going to put it back into the crock pot and cook it for another 20 minutes. Now after you have cooked your potato soup for another 20 minutes to warm the milk through, it is now ready to serve and to add any garnishments that you want to it. I like to add some cheddar cheese. I also like to add some sour cream. And then of course, bacon. And this is what I like to add in my potato soup, but you can add anything that you like and any garnishments that you would like. So that is my recipe for Crock-Pot potato soup. It's a family favorite. It's great to have on a cold night. It's great to have on a rainy night. It's a great meal that, you know, you can make ahead. You can freeze it in a Ziploc bag and then put it, put the Ziploc bag on the counter to thaw out all day, or the night before, and then put it in the crock pot and it cooks away. It's a great make ahead meal. It's very easy to make, and most of the stuff to make them you have in your pantry already. So if you do make this and you like it, please leave a comment down below and let me know. If you have a recipe for potato soup, please share it with me. I like to see other people's recipes, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.